Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is your ML Scholar and today we'll be doing a review / mini analysis on the upcoming monster Ursus. Now before I begin to analyze Ursus, one thing to keep in mind is that none of the information that I'm going to be sharing with you guys right now is confirmed. These are just the sneak peeks and they may be subject to change. Also, I would like to give a huge shout out to the people over at Discord who make it possible for us to review all of these upcoming leaks, and they post it over at Discord, so I'm really grateful for that. Now that that's out of the way, let's begin. As I'm sure you have seen in the intro and in the thumbnail as well, this is Ursus. Now, right away, I am in love with this monster's design, especially the baby form is really cute. Now, we do not know when and how this monster is going to be released into Monster Legends. All we know is that this is an upcoming monster and will be available in the game soon. So I'm guessing this monster will be available after Wickah's maze. And we do not know yet if this is a monster of the Forsaken category as well. Most likely this is not, because when Forsaken monsters are released, there's a Forsaken sign somewhere found in their sneak peeks as well. But we do not know for sure, as you know, these are just the sneak peeks and more information may come out, things may change. So yeah, that's it for that. All we know is that this is going to be available in the game through some sort of event, a breeding event, or a maze island, etc. Now, as you see here, we have all of these skills of Ursus right here in front of us. I have gone through all of these skills previously. Now, what I've realized with Ursus is that Ursus is basically an attacker, and with attackers, you know, the runes we put into them are basically strength runes and speed runes. Now, depending upon his stats, which are not out yet, we can guess basically what kind of runes to put those runes inside of him. So basically those runes are 2 strength, 1 speed, or 1 strength, 2 team speed, or something of that sort, right? So now, going through the skills, I also realized another thing is that Ursus is a classic attacker. Now we know for attackers that those have pretty set moves, like they will deal in AoE, they will deal a strong single target attack, and they'll possibly counter Megataunt, etc. So that is just the case with Ursus as well. Now let's just go over Ursus skills. Now for Ursus movesets, we have Always Cool, which deals low physical damage to one enemy, and I'm guessing these are just the tier 1 skills. Now another thing to note in here is that these skills are not in order, so maybe tier 3 skills are given first and the tier 1 skills are given below, but we'll just see about that. So the first skill we come across is Always Cool, which deals low physical damage to one enemy. There's nothing special about that. Moving on, we have Always Monster Soda, deals moderate water damage to one enemy. Frost Harpoon applies freeze to one enemy, deals moderate water damage to all enemies, requires cooldown. Now this is a move that I could see you guys potentially run because it denies one and attacks all of the enemies with moderate damage, and if he has a decent power stat, you could potentially run Frost Harpoon. Then we have Cold Drawer, deals water damage to all enemies and 50% chance of applying freeze to all enemies. Now the reason that I would not prefer that you run this skill is because just for the fact that it deals a 50% chance of applying freeze to all enemies. This is not the ideal scenario, as many of the monsters being introduced have amazing skills, and they usually have tough or hardened etc. So it's basically a 20 or 25% chance that this freeze would work, so not worth it in my opinion. Then we have Greedy Ursus, applies a damage boost to itself, gives 1 extra turn to itself, requires cooldown. Now this is a skill that I could see a lot of people running, especially those in the lower categories where the monsters with the anticipation trait are pretty much not common. So yeah, you could be running Greedy Ursus. And if you're in a higher league and you plan on running Ursus in those team wars, etc., definitely I would not recommend you run this skill, because if you're facing anticipation monster, this skill is just gonna be really hard for you to run, because the anticipation monsters will get a turn before you and they'll basically wipe out your entire team before you even have a chance to use that damage boost. So yeah, that's it for the Greedy Ursus skill. Then we have Hibernating Ursus, doubles the maximum life, applies life regeneration to itself. Now I could see this skill being used, but not too much, because you could use this skill in a pinch, but doubles maximum life is not really a very good skill in my opinion, because if, for example, if you have 6,000 health left and you apply this skill, you'll basically be doubling your maximum life. For example, if your maximum life is like 38k or 48k, the maximum life will double, meaning that your life will also increase, but not to a certain extent. And then you could argue with me that this monster will also have regeneration activated, but he could be knocked out before that regeneration has a chance to work. So this is basically a risky skill to run, and you could run this if you have enough confidence of this monster has enough life left. Then we have on the rocks, deals heavy special damage to one enemy. Again, that's what I was talking about, a heavy damage skill, a moderate damage skill, etc, etc. Then we have the other set of skills. We have Cruel Slash, removes positive status effects from one enemy, deals very heavy special damage to one enemy, applies bleed to one enemy. So this is the skill that I was talking about, basically the attackers having nowadays. Because of Megaton, this is an important skill to run, and I would definitely recommend you run this skill, because this trait will get rid of evasion, this trait will get rid of Megaton, this trait will get rid of taunt, etc, and damage mirror itself. So this is an important skill to run, and I would definitely recommend you run the skill. Then we have Angry Ursus, applies double damage to itself, applies precision to itself, applies evasion to itself. Now this is a good skill that I would also recommend you run, because first of all it applies double damage and applies precision. Now double damage and precision hand in hand with evasion, this is going to be a tough counter if you do not have a monster that removes positive effects, or a monster that can bypass this positive effect, for example with Pierce, which this monster also has. If you go on further you will realize that. But this monster applies double damage, and if he gets a chance to use this double damage along with the precision, you can basically kiss the enemy team bye bye. Then we have Pierce Crystal, removes all negative status effects from itself, applies Pierce to itself, deals moderate water damage to all enemies, removes Pierce to itself. Now this is also a very good skill, and this is a must-have skill in this monster, simply because this applies Pierce then does the damage. Because as you all know, Pierce can bypass shield, Pierce can bypass evasion, Pierce can bypass Megaton, etc, as well as skills like, if I'm not wrong, skills like taunt as well. So yeah, this is a definitely must-have skill. Now I'm seeing these skills being pretty common in monsters that are attackers right now, because simply because the Mega Taunt ability is pretty much common right now because of monsters like Mephisto, Dundra, Eisul, etc. So yeah, definitely run this skill. Then we have Ice Claws, applies Pierce to itself, deals very heavy special damage to one enemy, applies bleed to all enemies, and removes Pierce from itself. Again, a very good skill, and couple this up with the double damage, this will get rid of the Megaton monster, especially that Megaton monster is Mephisto, because this monster is a water-based monster and Mephisto is a fire-based monster. So you can, upon the damage you will be inflicting on the monster, that damage will be increased because of the type advantage. So yeah, this could be very useful as well. Then we have its special Permafrost, applies Pierce to itself, deals very heavy water damage to all enemies, applies Mega Freeze to all enemies, removes Pierce from itself. Yeah, a very good special. And yeah, that's it for my analysis of this monster. Now that I have gone over all of the skills with you guys, the skills that I would recommend you run are basically Ice Claw, Pierce Crystal, Angry Ursus, and you could either substitute with Cruel Slash as well, or you could substitute Frost Harpoon, because it deals freeze to one enemy, and if you want to deny one enemy, you could always shift around with those skills, etc. Now yeah, that's it for this monster. Hope you enjoyed my mini analysis / review, and as soon as the skills the skill sheet is out and the stats are out, I will be analyzing this monster once again. So yeah, that's it for Ursus. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you did, leave a like and share this video with your friends and all. And I would really appreciate if you guys would comment in the comment section down below. And I always reply to all of my comments unless they're really negative and really toxic. And I will still reply, but they won't be good replies. Yeah, sorry for me rambling on. That's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you made it to this point, thank you so much. See you in the next one. Bye bye.